Welcome to Lagniappe, a program about events, issues, and people. I'm Cory Crowe. I'm joined today by the cast of The Rocky Horror Show and director Josh Madden with us, along with Randall Tittle and Abby Thomas, who are in the stage production. Welcome. Thank you for being with us today on Lagniappe. Good to have you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Well, let's start here. I think folks... there are a lot of folks that recognize the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which was a movie made about a famous musical, and I guess it gained cult status over the years. I want to ask you, Randall, tell everybody what this thing is all about.
So it's kind of a satirical musical based on the 1950s science fiction films that were so popular in the time. And really, if I had to put a few words to it, what I would think of is just camp, nonsensical, and just kind of a rock and roll Dr. Frankenstein. So it's just a good time overall.
And Abby, you said something a minute ago that this sort of just makes a lot of fun of all those old cheesy 1950s science fiction shows, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really great time, and there's so many themes. It's so hard to even describe a plot to it because there's so much going on. But yeah, I think it's an absolutely great time.
Now, it's been a long time since anybody's tried to do one of these productions of Rocky Horror. It's been probably 30 years since I remember one in Monroe, and I remember going to the movies back in the 80s and early 90s and watching the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and there's a lot of audience participation. Josh Madden, you are the director-producer of this thing. Why Rocky Horror, and why now?
Because I'm crazy, apparently. It's like you said, it's a cult classic. The movie itself was famous for being a midnight showing movie. People love it. It's a great Halloween event. Everybody likes to be dressed up. That's kind of one of the things for going to see the movie and also the plays. Dress up as one of the characters, or just dress up as whatever you want to dress up as. But it's it is, like they said, it's a rock and roll, gothic sci-fi musical with chainsaws and motorcycles and everything. It's just
And a lot of killing too.
Yeah. There's lots of deaths on stage. It's great.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. This is going to be happening October 26th, 27th, and 28th at Flying Tiger out in the backyard. Abby, you play a pretty famous character in this. Tell me about Janet Weiss. What's she all about?
Oh, man. She's a very iconic character. If you are familiar with her in the movie, she's just as iconic in the stage production. She definitely comes into her own throughout the show. As it progresses, you definitely see a change in her. But she is the quintessential 1950s woman, and she sort of comes into a sexual awakening, an awakening of, herself and what she wants, and sort of steps into her own as the show goes on. I'm very, very excited to play this character. I've been a fan of the movie and this show for almost my whole life, and so...
Well, that's going to be a lot of fun. Randall, tell me about your character, Dr. Frank-N-Furter. What's his deal?
Oh, wow. Okay, so Frank-N-Furter, I think, is just the anti-hero. It's the villain that you love to love. Like, honestly, Frank-N-Furter, I think, kind of represents the dark side of human desire and everything that we all kind of have tucked away in that little corner, and he's just unapologetically him. It's all about him. Life is his show, and he just makes everyone else a part of it.
Josh, when you said you were going to do this, I saw the auditions, and I saw people that were auditioning, and I was like, oh, you've got some characters in this thing.
Oh, absolutely. We've got, like, cream of the crop. It's like, this is... I couldn't ask for a better cast, obviously. Cast, crew, everybody working on this and on all fronts, Gail Frick doing the costumes, Greg Baccarini doing choreography and playing Riff Raff. I mean, it's a dream team.
Abby,
Absolutely.
tell me what's different for the folks that have seen the movie. What's different from the movie and what happens in the stage version?
So if you're familiar with the movie, which a lot of people are, you kind of recognize there are some darker themes that sort of follow along in the movie. I think that the stage production still stays true to that plot, but it's a lot campier. As Randall said, it's very nonsensical. There are some added scenes that are not in the movie. There's, I believe, at least 2 new songs that if you've never seen the stage production before, then it'll be a treat to kind of experience those 2 songs that you're not familiar with. But if you're a fan of the movie, you're going to be a huge fan of the stage production. It brings so much energy and camp and interaction. It's so much fun.
I'll throw this one out for whoever wants to jump in. Audience participation. Now, that was a big part of the movie. It's a little different participating in the stage version. What do I need to do as far as audience participation? And will there be sacrifices of the virgins?
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the first things you do when you walk in the door is, they'll ask you, have you been to the Rocky Horror Show before? And if you haven't, you're going to get a little V on your hand there, and you might get picked on a little bit, but in good fun. But no, it's as far as the audience participation, there is we're selling prop kits, but we also put that list of what the props will be out on social media. If you buy a ticket to the show and you don't get a prop kit, you'll still get an email telling you what props are approved. And so the audience participation part of the show is what makes it fun more than anything. Obviously, everything, the spectacle of it is great, but you are part of the show.
Are you going to help guide the audience along for the new folks?
Absolutely. We're going to have some instructions, but we'll also possibly have some cue cards up there to hold up for the audience to know what to shout back at the stage, as well as when to throw things, and just general mayhem for them to participate in. For folks to get tickets to this production, and by the way, KEDM proud to be a sponsor and helping you guys out with this. How do they do that? And where do you go to get tickets, and give me the times? Okay. You can go to joshmaddenproductions.com and get tickets there. The showtimes are Thursday, October 26th at 7 o'clock, Friday, October 27th at 7 o'clock, and then on October 28th we have 2 shows, a 6 p.m. and a 9 p.m.
Abby Thomas, Randall Tittle, and Josh Madden with us today on KEDM. It is happening October 26, 27, 28 at Flying Tiger Brewery. It's out in the backyard, and one big note, you have to bring your own chair, and there'll be beer and pizza available for purchase.